Hello everyone, this is John Cummings with RMR Partners LLC, and today I'd like to give you an introduction to the virtual assistant position with RMR. We're going to try and keep this as brief as possible, but still give you all the nuts and bolts and information you need to know to decide if maybe you want to become a VA with our company, and we look forward to hearing from you if you decide to do so. So let's go ahead and dive right in here. First of all, who is RMR? RMR Partners is a multi-divisional company, and we're focused on two primary businesses. The first one involves real estate. Now, that includes things called lease options, which is what we're going to talk about here today specifically, traditional wholesaling, working with HUD homes, residential assisted living facilities, property tax overage recoveries, and apartment complexes. So lease options will be today's topic, but the other topics will be coming on board very shortly. The second business that we're involved in is digital and online marketing. Now, this includes things like Amazon FBA, which is fulfillment by Amazon, drop servicing businesses, legal shield and identity theft protection. This is a huge booming business. And Google and Facebook advertising for small businesses. Again, these other divisions will be coming online shortly. Keep an eye out for that. Now, the current opportunity here today is for a virtual assistant or a VA in the lease option division of the real estate department. So let's go through what are we going to cover in this presentation. What is a lease option, or what we call an LO? We'll go into that in a little bit of detail. It's not very hard. What are the benefits of an LO for all the parties involved? What is a VA? And what are the responsibilities of a VA? Exactly what would you be doing on a day-to-day basis? Exactly. And we're going to show a live example of your day-to-day kind of activity. So hopefully that'll clear things up and make it real easy for you. How much can you earn as a VA? This is where the fun starts. How much do you need to invest to become a VA? And finally, this is a big one. I get this all the time. Do I need to talk to anyone on the phone? You know, that's a big thing right now. There's so many people who, for whatever reason, maybe you've got kids in the background, maybe you aren't comfortable on the phone, whatever the case may be. But do you really need to talk to anybody on the phone? We'll address that as well. Okay, so first of all, you're going to be working in specific markets, okay? And what you need to recognize is that every market is good for this business because there are lots of people who may not qualify for a mortgage but have the potential to do so. We help these people find clean, secure housing that they can eventually call their own, and we help the homeowners who have little or no equity in their home find a solution to help them sleep at night. Now, there is a great source of top markets out there in the marketplace, and I just want to show you this really quick. Let's go ahead. We're going to select this link right here. Whoops. Here we go. And we'll let that load. Okay, this is from Forbes magazine, and it's the best markets for real estate investments in 2019. And if you scroll down a little bit, there's a very interesting table of information. These are the best, hottest rental markets in the country. So I want you to take a look at this list. Is there anything that is familiar to you? Any place where you live, where you have friends, where you've done business, where you have any kind of personal connection at all? Those are the kinds of markets you really want to be involved in. However, at the same time, I don't want you to get too hung up on that. Now, these markets may have anything in common to you, and that's okay. Any market is a good market for this business. Again, the best market is the one with which you are most familiar, but that's okay. We're going to show an example of a market that I have absolutely no connection with whatsoever and show you exactly how you as a VA can profit from virtually any market in the country. Okay, so what is a lease option or an LO? It's essentially a combination of two contracts. The first one is a lease. Now, that's just a fancy word for a rental agreement. And a lot of us have probably rented at one time or another. You're paying a monthly payment to a landlord, and for that, they allow you to live there. You pay your own utilities, they pay the homeowner's insurance, etc., and taxes, and you're temporarily living in that apartment, right? So it's not generally a long-term thing. And just like this is a lease. As a tenant, they have the opportunity to try out a home before actually buying it. And the term of the lease is usually 1 to 2 years, but it can be longer if needed. Different circumstances may take that out to as long as 5 years. Now, the option part of it is just like it sounds. It gives the tenant the option to purchase the home at a predetermined price anytime before the end of the lease term. So if let's say we have a home here that is under contract for $100,000 and we're going to pay a monthly lease payment, the tenant buyer can qualify for a mortgage anytime up to the end of the term, let's say 2 years, to purchase that home for $100,000. Again, that price is locked in, and so if the price goes up, for example, the market goes up, the tenant has the benefit of that appreciation because the price is already locked in. Great benefit for them. Now, the tenant's going to pay a non-refundable deposit. This is called an option deposit to lock in that purchase price. And again, like I said, it protects that tenant in case the market price rises. This option deposit can be credited toward the purchase of the home as part of their down payment. This is a little bit of a tricky thing to do. We have a very specialized mortgage broker who works with us on a nationwide basis to make sure that that option deposit is credited properly so that the tenant buyer gets the benefit they deserve. What are the benefits for the seller? Why on earth would a property seller even think about doing a lease option contract? Well, first of all, they'll have a serious qualified tenant who's going to treat the property like their own and not a temporary apartment. Remember, this tenant eventually intends to buy the property. They want to buy this house. This is their home. The seller will no longer be responsible for normal wear and tear and maintenance under $500. Any major expenses over $500 will be covered by the seller, and that's written into the contracts. The seller is going to receive a monthly payment at or above their monthly mortgage. That gives them great peace of mind. Think about it, for example. A lot of sellers, they have little or no equity. They may have few options, and if they're struck by any of the following, think about a divorce, a job transfer, death in the family, downsizing at retirement. What if they have to move as a result of a job or a divorce? And now they're stuck with a property. Maybe they're paying 2 mortgage payments, 2 sets of insurances, 2 sets of property taxes. Most sellers probably cannot handle that for very long. They become very motivated and they need help. That's where we come in. Again, the benefits for the tenant buyer, the TB, is the ability to try out a new home, get comfortable with the neighborhood, the school district, their neighbors around them. Is it safe for their kids? Is it comfortable? Is it clean? Is it a low crime area? They have the ability to work with a professional mortgage broker to make sure they can get qualified for a mortgage by the end of the lease term. That file is going to be reviewed by the mortgage broker before this deal even closes so that the seller has peace of mind that they're going to be qualified for a mortgage, and the tenant buyer has peace of mind that yes, they can actually make that dream of home ownership come true. The tenant buyer has the ability to lock in their purchase price without being obligated to eventually buy the home if they choose not to. Remember, it's an option. Yes, they forfeit the option deposit, but they're not obligated to buy the home if they choose not to do so. This is ideal for people with bruised credit, self-employed people, or people who are establishing new credit but can really have good credit within a year or two. There's lots of people out there that need help to get into their forever home. That's where we help them. So the overall goals here in any deal that RMR does, we only do deals that make sense. Okay, every party in the deal must benefit. If it's not a win-win-win, then we just won't do it. There's so many deals out there and so many people that need this kind of help and may not even know it, that we don't need to strong arm anybody. We don't need to lie. We don't need to hard sell or anything like that. We present an option. If the seller and tenant buyer take that option, great. If they don't, we move on. Simple as that. The ultimate goal here for you is to maximize the number of positive leads from potential sellers, which means more closed deals and, of course, more income for you. So your goal as a VA is to follow the process that we're going to discuss here, go through it step by step, Rinse and repeat over and over and over again. It's not rocket science. Anybody can do it. And just, again, the more leads you provide means more closed deals and more income. Okay, so what exactly is a VA, or virtual assistant? As a VA, you are the front line in this business. You're the tip of the spear, the first contact with the seller. You can work as much or as little as you want from anywhere in the country. You got to have access to a computer and the internet. Not a big deal. Most people have that today. Now, the term virtual is used. I get this a lot. What is it? What do you mean virtual assistant? Virtual is because you can work from anywhere. You don't have to come into an RMR office. You don't have to be working side by side with RMR or your regional manager or anything like that. You can work in your pajamas from home anytime you want. Now, there is another opportunity for you. If you're comfortable as a VA, you can be promoted to what's called a regional manager, or RM, depending on your performance, and you can earn up to 5 times more of the net deal proceeds on every deal if you choose to go that route. Now, this is a more advanced position. There's certain prerequisites. For example, we're going to get you comfortable with contracts. You will need to talk to people on the phone. You will need to be able to take notes and have a mature, confident conversation with those sellers and tenant buyers on the phone. So not everybody can do that. Not everybody wants to do that, and that's absolutely fine. It is an option if you decide to go that route. And again, if you decide you want to pursue that, just contact RMR. We'll talk about the exact details and go from there. Now, you will work closely with your RM to fill the top of the deal funnel with positive seller leads. So think about it as a funnel, right? You are the VA, you're at the top, and you are shoveling in leads as fast as you can go, fast and furious. Some are going to be positive, some are going to be negative. All of them are going to get some kind of response, good, bad, or ugly, and that's fine. This isn't for every seller, and it's not for every tenant buyer. But please keep in mind that circumstances change over time, and a lot of these people who perhaps aren't motivated to do something right now will become motivated later. So we'll talk about, we'll follow up with you later on regarding the procedures for follow-up and making sure that we keep on top of all of your hard work and make sure that we enhance the benefit to as many sellers and tenant buyers as we can. So what are the responsibilities of a VA? Well, first of all, you're going to research new markets using our system. We're going to show you that live here in just a minute. Very simple. Pretty much everything is done for you. You're just going to pick a place in the country, hopefully a place that you're somewhat familiar with, might be right in your backyard. And then you're going to find target properties on Craigslist and Zillow based on our criteria. Now, we're going to focus on Craigslist today. There's so much opportunity just on Craigslist, it can keep you very, very busy. If you want to expand into Zillow, talk with us about it. We'll get your feet wet with that as well. You'll input the data from the target properties into a Google Sheet. If you're not familiar with Google Sheets, basically it is a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet that's available for free when you have a Gmail account. And I'm going to show you exactly where you access that. From the properties that you've targeted on Craigslist based on the criteria, a couple of the things that you're going to collect will be the seller's phone number and or email if available. Now, remember on Craigslist, they're out there, they want people to call. These are warm leads. This is not cold calling out of a phone book. This is not, robo texting or something crazy like that where people get annoyed. It's not like that at all. They want to hear from people who see their property online. There's so much competition out there for sellers that they're just happy to hear from somebody and at least have an idea to think about. So we're going to contact sellers by text and or email and record those seller responses on the Google Sheet. Finally, you will forward all positive responses to RMR or the designated regional manager for that area that you'll be working with. That's it. That is all the responsibilities of a VA. So here's the fun part. How much can I earn as a VA? Well, for every deal that closes from a positive lead that you have provided and for which you have done the previous required tasks, you're going to receive 10% of the net proceeds. So, for example, a small lease option deal will yield about $5,000 gross. That's the option deposit that comes from the tenant buyer. And that leaves about $4,000 net. The other $1,000 goes for the expenses of hiring a leasing agent. They're going to actually work to find tenant buyers for us, and for the review by our nationwide mortgage broker. We need to make sure the tenant buyer has a legitimate shot of getting a mortgage by the end of the lease term. So 10% of $4,000 is $400 per deal closed. That's yours. Okay. Typical responses to texts and emails is about 10%, which is a really, really good response rate, but based on our testing, that is a legit response rate. What that means is that for every 10 texts or emails you send, and I recommend text, by the way, people respond a lot more to text, but if you want to do both, that's fine. For every 10 texts you send, you should expect one positive response. So what that means is if you send 100 texts per week, that should yield about 10 positive response. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, but on a weekly basis, about 10. For every 10 positive responses, we at RMR expect to close 1 to 3 deals. So what that means for you specifically, 1 to 3 deals times $400 per deal means you can expect about $400 to $1,200 per week, assuming you are consistently working 20 leads per day or 100 leads per week. Okay. So again, if you want to do more, you can, and certainly you have the opportunity to earn more. If you're real busy and maybe you can only work, a few hours, an hour a day, 5 hours a week, that's fine too. You really should expect to spend maybe an hour to 2 per day. That's a reasonable amount because you're going to be researching the properties, recording the information in the Google Sheet, and then doing all the texting, basically forwarding the same message over and over again to new phone numbers, and then recording responses. So reasonably expect 1 to 2 hours per day. I wouldn't expect a VA to necessarily work more than 10 hours per week. So hopefully that fits into your schedule, or you can find 10 hours a week. How much do I need to invest to become a VA? I get this all the time. And they say, you know what, John, this sounds like a great thing, but I don't have money to invest. Is this like a pyramid scheme? What are we talking about here? Honestly, this is the easiest answer of all. We don't require a VA to invest anything at all to join our team. Now, I've been around a little bit, and I'm personally sick and tired of these so-called gurus out there charging up to $1,000 to learn their system. And I always wondered to myself, if you're making so much money from your system, why are you charging people anything? Why not just bring them on as team members? I never understood that. So here at RMR, we will not charge you a dime to become a VA. So rest easy, put your credit card away. Do I need to talk to anyone on the phone? Well, the position of VA is based on digital communication, just texting and emailing potential sellers. Most people are not comfortable using what's sometimes called the phone cactus. You reach out and touch the phone and there's a phobia, there's a fear. Oh my gosh, somebody might actually answer. And they're not comfortable talking on the phone. That's okay. We don't need the phone cactus for a VA position. Any follow-up phone communication is handled either by RMR or the assigned regional manager. So the short answer is no, you do not need to speak to anyone on the phone. The only exception might be once in a while you'll speak to either myself or one of the other representatives here at RMR just to check and see how things are going. Do you have any questions? What positive responses have you been getting? And answer anything that you might have a question about regarding the position. Okay. How do you get started as a VA? You've taken a look at this and you're like, you know what, that sounds pretty good. Those are really basic kind of, let's get rid of that. Hate those pop-ups. You've decided, you know what, I want to give this a shot. I'll give it some time, do the nuts and bolts, rinse and repeat over and over again, start getting responses, entering them into the Google Sheet, and see if RMR can close some deals and put some money in my pocket. What have you got to lose besides a few hours of time? Well, all you need to do is to contact us using the email there highlighted in yellow, rmrpartners.va@gmail.com. We're going to work with you to identify your target market, or maybe you have one in mind already. That's okay too. You're going to identify the median home price in your market and enter that price into the Google Sheet for your market. And what that price will do is automatically calculate your target price range, which is plus or minus 35% of that median sales price. And we're looking for 3+ bedrooms. And there's specific negative search terms we want to use here, okay? This is when we get into Craigslist and looking at these terms. These are properties we don't want. We don't want townhouses or townhomes, apartments, condos. And we really want to try and screen out any duplexes, realtors, or property managers. It's not perfect, but it does a pretty good job of screening those out. So we can just find for sale by owner and for rent by owner properties on Craigslist. Now, if we're talking about for rent by owner, we want to find $1,000 plus monthly rentals. Why 1,000? Because that generally will ensure you're looking at decent houses in decent neighborhoods in most places in the country. We're not looking for war zone properties. We're not looking for real dumpy properties that need a total gut and rehab. We're looking for pretty houses. Houses that people actually want to live in right now and make their forever home. Next, you're going to text or email the seller using our simple message. And again, you're just going to forward that message to the new phone number over and over and over again. So you can text probably 30 to 60 individuals in a half hour. Just enter all the responses that you receive on the Google Sheet. Forward all the warm responses to either RMR or your assigned regional manager. Now, what's a warm response? A warm response is basically anything other than drop dead. I don't want to hear from you again. Okay? So it might be a maybe, or never thought of it, or yeah, I'd like to discuss that, or yes, take my home now, please. So anything at least somewhat positive is a warm response. Now, your goal is to find 20 properties a day, get that information into the Google Sheet, and then contact them using text. Again, the more you do, the more you can earn. Simple as that. Okay, so let's have some fun. We're going to dive in and do this for real. So I'm going to use an example market here of Broward County, Florida. And the first step you want to do is we're going to Google Broward County, Florida, median sale price. Pretty straightforward, right? Anybody can use Google. Let's go ahead, jump down and do that. All right, here's Google. And we'll do Broward County, Florida, median sale price. There we go. And it's going to come up right here in Zillow. So let's click on that. And it says the median sale price in Broward County, Florida is $277,921. Okay, let's round it up and say $278,000. So now we found our median sale price. Next, we're going to open the Google Sheet. So let's go back. We're going to open a new tab. There we go. It's a little bit slow here. Bear with it. There we go. Now, do you see right up here? This is where you open Google Apps. And this is where you're going to find Google Sheets. So we're going to click that button. You might need to scroll down a little bit, but you want to look for an icon that looks like this. It says Sheets. These are Google Sheets, and that's basically a spreadsheet on Google. Let's go ahead. We're going to click on that. Now, remember, once you become a VA and you've spoken to RMR and you're good to go, we'll give you access to this Google Sheet. Okay? You're going to have your own tab, and you're going to be able to enter your leads and all the information that way. So let's go ahead. It's RMR Leads. We're going to click on that. And here we go. So what we have here, and let me go ahead. We'll go to template. I've been working in Broward already, so let's go over to the template. This is the blank sheet. This is your canvas. This is where you're going to paint your template. Okay? We're going to create a new tab just for you. So we're going to right click on template, duplicate, copy of template, And again, let's say you're going to be using Broward County, Florida. Let's rename this copy of template. Again, right click, rename, and we're going to type Broward County. There. Now, this is yours. This is the one that you will work on all the time. So let's dive in here. What are we looking at? First of all, we have county. The information, or the cells here in yellow, are where you're going to enter information initially. So what county are we in? Broward. And what state? Florida. And what did we say that median home price was? Let's go back and take a look. And we said call it $278,000. Okay. I'm going to plug that in right here. 278. And what the sheet does for you already is calculates that plus or minus 35%. So we're looking for properties for sale by owner in the range from $180,700 up to $375,300. So that's quite a range there, but that is where the meat and potatoes are of this market. This is where the most people are going to be searching or selling. Okay. So again, over here we have our search terms that we're going to use in Craigslist. 3-bedroom plus, $1,000 plus for rent. 3-bedroom plus and plus or minus 35% median or for sale by owner, right? So what's our next step? Find the properties on Craigslist that meet the criteria. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to focus on the for sale by owner in Craigslist in Broward County, Florida, in this range. Make sense? All right, let's go to Craigslist. www.craigslist.com. And right up here, right at the very top left, it says Craigslist. We're going to click on that. And this is where you can access all the regions in Craigslist. This is worldwide. This is a lot of fun sometime if you want to go in here. But we're in the US. We want to scroll down a little bit, look for Florida. Where are you? There we are, Florida. And we're going to click on Broward County. And we're going to go over here under housing. You see that? And come down to for sale, real estate for sale, and click on that. Okay, this is all the real estate for sale in Broward County. There's about 3,000 of them. That's quite a lot. But we're going to narrow that down, remember? So the first thing we're going to do is use our negative search terms. Let's go back to your Google Sheet. And we've highlighted the terms here. Here we go. So what I did there, just to follow along, click and hold down your left mouse button at the end, drag it across, okay, until you get to that first minus sign, release the mouse button, and then right click on the highlighted text and click copy. Let's go back to Craigslist. And where it says search real estate, we're going to left click. So you got your cursor right here. Right click and paste. And there are all your negative search terms. Next thing we wanted was what? We said we wanted 3+ bedrooms in this price range. Okay, let's put the price range in first. 180.7, 375.3. So over here we have price 180, 700, 375, 300. And we also said we wanted at least 3 bedrooms, right? So 3 bedrooms minimum and no maximum. Make sense? Hopefully so far. There are other things that you can select in here: availability, square footage. We're going to leave all the others alone. I'm not worried about baths. Primarily it's bedrooms people are mainly concerned about, right? So let's go ahead and update the search right down here. See that? Update search. 320 properties that meet our criteria. Now, we also want to, instead of just real estate for sale, we're going to click the down arrow right here. We want for sale by owner. See that? Real estate by owner. 82 properties. So we have 82 potential leads just in for sale by owner, just in Broward County, meeting these very specific criteria. That's a pretty good amount, and we still haven't even touched for rent by owner, Zillow leads, and other wholesaler trash leads. We're not even going to get into that today, or otherwise we'd be here for 2 hours. But this is a great start. This will get your feet wet. This is a full week's worth of work right here, and then following up with them afterwards. So what's the next step? What do we do next? We're going to enter data into the Google Sheet. Well, what data, John? What are we looking at here? Let's go back to your Google Sheet. What do we want to enter? We want to enter the date of input. So let's say today is 12/24 of 19. We haven't actually sent the text yet. When you send the text, that's when you will input the date contacted. We're looking for a contact name. So can we find a contact name here? Let's take this first property. Hot deal, large 2-story house with tons of potential, $309,900. Let's take a look here. Okay, cash buyers only. Yeah, may not be a great lead, but it can't hurt. 5 beds, 3.5 baths. 3,000 square feet, monster size house. Says you can join our secret off-market deal list. Ooh, that sounds exciting. So as we go through it, it'll give you some details on the actual property that comes up as a great deal. And here we have a contact name, Jamie. Okay, so we're going to, again, click your left mouse button, hold it down, drag across so you highlight it, release the left mouse button. Now right click on the highlighted text, left click copy, back to the Google Sheet, left click on the cell, right click, come up here and click paste, and there's Jamie. Next, is Jamie an agent? Well, it's kind of hard to, come on, go away. Kind of hard to tell from here. Maybe, maybe not. Sounds like they may be some kind of investor or wholesaler. Not really sure. But we do have a phone number. Now, notice on Craigslist here, it does something kind of funny sometimes. And they do this on purpose for scraping purposes and not necessarily people wanting people to go in and find data and recording data for themselves. That's okay. We're not doing this on a massive scale, and there's nothing wrong with what we do. So here we have a phone number, 954-324-4454. Lots of 4s on there. So again, 954. You know what? Why don't we do this? Make it easy. Left click and hold down. Drag across to highlight. Release the left mouse button. Right click. Copy. Back to the sheet. Phone. Right click. Paste. Obviously, we're not going to leave that in there like that. So 324, let's go ahead. We're just going to back that out with our back button. 324, enter, and the phone number is saved. Is there an email or any other contact information? Well, that's going to be up here at the upper left where you have a reply button. Let's go ahead and click that. Here we go. And we do. We have an email here. It's this long encryption code from Craigslist here at HOUS, no E, HOUS.craigslist.org. Okay, so it's already highlighted for you. Right click, left click on copy, back to the sheet, left click on the cell, right click, paste. There's your email. The next column here, it says phone dupe. The spreadsheet will automatically check if this phone number here has already been used in this column, because you don't necessarily want to be texting the same phone number over and over and over again. That really could irritate some people, especially if they're receiving the same text message over and over. So this will check if there's a phone dupe. Let's go ahead and do this. We're going to type in here 954 324 4454, and it says, yep, it's a dupe. Okay, it's basically a flag that says, hey, pay attention. As you're just flying through here sending text messages, this one's a dupe. Keep an eye out. Okay, so we're going to back that out. We don't want that there. And that goes away. Okay, the ad title. Where is that? And let's just click anywhere outside that box. That'll go away. This is the ad title. So once again, click and hold down your left mouse button, drag it across, release the left button, right click on the text, left click copy, back to the sheet, left click on ad title, right click, and paste. And there it is. See, right there. Why is that important? Well, because we may want to be able to go back to this same property at some point. So as you build this spreadsheet and you get more and more and more properties in here, it's not necessarily the easiest thing to go back and find the exact property again. So it's good to have this ad title because it rarely changes from that seller. But again, as you're going through, there's an ad title dupe, same as the phone dupe. So it'll check and see, hey, you've already got this property in your list. I mean, think about it. You're going through from day to day. There's new properties being added all the time, but old properties are still going to be on there as well. And as you're going through your list, you may come across a property you've already added to your spreadsheet. There's no way you're going to remember it, so the spreadsheet will remind you, hey, you've already put this title in here before, so you probably don't want to enter it a second time. There's really no use for it. Add link. Well, this is the actual link for the Craigslist ad. So let's go back to Craigslist. Here's the link right up here. See that? So up here, we're going to double click. Actually, that took 3, but you want to highlight the entire ad link so it's in blue, and that's using your left button. Now right click on your mouse, copy, back to the sheet, right click on the ad link cell, and paste. And now that ad link is in your spreadsheet. We're going to scroll over a little bit. There's only a couple more items on here. Lead source. Where'd this lead come from? There's a lot of possibles. It could have come from Craigslist, Zillow. We are subscribing to a vacant house data feed. More on that later. That's more advanced. It may have come from direct mail. You may decide as a VA, hey, I want to crank these things out. Maybe I'll reinvest some of the money I earn and maximize my potential by attacking that seller a second way besides text. I'll send them a direct mail. Maybe we got the lead source from a referral. Maybe you contacted an agent and they're sending you referrals all the time from their inventory that they can't move. Or it may have come from somewhere else. We want to track that lead source to see what lead source is performing the best for us. Next, what about seller source? Where did the seller source come from? It could be for rent by owner, for sale by owner. It may have come from another wholesaler. The wholesaler leads are going to be provided by RMR. This is a little more advanced technical aspect to it, where we contact other wholesalers in that marketplace and offer to take their garbage leads, the one that they can't handle. Wholesalers typically want to be buying properties in the 60 to 65, maybe 70% of market value range. A lot of our clients simply don't have that much equity. They may even be upside down, meaning they owe more than the home is worth. Wholesalers can't deal with that. That's a junk lead for a wholesaler, but it's gold for us. So we work out deals with wholesalers where we'll pay them $500 or $1,000 if the deal closes, just to keep them coming back and sending us more of their leads because they're doing all the work in the marketing. Why not get some benefit from that? Finally, over here is where you're going to record the current responses. So you've sent the text out to the seller. You contacted Jamie, right? And you said, hey, Jamie, I saw your property over there, the one on Hollywood there. Looks like a nice home and everything. You sent them the message. We provide the message for you, by the way. There's a very specific message we want you to text. And you're going to record responses. And this is where you record them. And this is where you also keep track of what's a warm lead. What is exactly their response? It could, like I said, it could be, you know what, that's an interesting idea. I want to learn more. It may be not now, but maybe later. Or it may be, I never want to hear from you again. Any response is okay, but we do want to record the response in here. Now, each of your spreadsheets goes up to about 1,000 leads. So you've got lots of room to work with, all kinds of opportunity to fill this thing up. Another thing you want to do, you may have noticed up here, there's a Craigslist for rent by owner search link, for sale by owner search link, and the same for Zillow. I like to do that simply because I can go back to this same search link over and over and over again. So back here, let's use our back button. That takes us back to where we already input all of our negative search terms. We already have our prices and bedrooms already built in for the for sale by owners. I can just, again, highlight this link right here using your left button. Right click, copy, back to the sheet. And this is a for sale by owner for Google. Left click on the cell, right click, and paste. The nice thing about Google Sheets, by the way, you don't need to save it. It does it automatically. See, all changes saved in Drive. As soon as you make any change in the spreadsheet, it's saved in about 1 to 2 seconds. So you don't have to worry about finding a way to save your information. It does it automatically. But this way, I can go back to Broward County very easily and not have to spend time putting in my negative search terms and the prices and, you know, bedrooms and all that. It's already done as part of this link. See that? Price, $375,300 max price, and minimum bedrooms 3. So it's already in there. Very easy. So now our Google Sheet is saved. We're sending texts and we're recording responses. All warm leads get forwarded to RMR or the regional manager you're designated to work with. That's it. That's everything that a VA does. We just did it live. How long did that take? Just 10 minutes to get that set up? Very easy. And this can be done in any market, anywhere in the country. Thousands of available markets. Lots of opportunity out there. Now, the next steps. After watching this really brief presentation, we hope you'll consider to become a VA with RMR Partners LLC. We're really trying to expand our base. We want to build an army of VAs out there. Okay, people who are motivated, they're willing to work, they're self-motivated. They don't need somebody looking over their shoulder every day, making sure they're doing their job. You work when you want, as much as you want, no cost, no risk to you. If that sounds interesting to you, if you want to make a few extra bucks a month, and potentially a lot of bucks per month, simply email us again, rmrpartners.va@gmail.com. A representative of RMR will contact you. We'll set up an introductory phone call, answer any questions you may have, and make sure you are ready to rock and roll as soon as possible. It's not very hard, as you've seen here, but you may have some technical questions. Did you right click or left click on that? How did I access the Google Sheet again, or copy and create a new tab for myself? Easy stuff. We'll walk you right through it, no problem whatsoever. So listen, I really want to thank you for taking the time to check out this opportunity. Your time is valuable. I'm here on Christmas Eve of all things, and just really appreciate your time. We look forward to hearing from you. We honestly want to build an army of virtual assistants nationwide. If you know of anyone who maybe is housebound, is retired, perhaps you know, somebody who needs to work from home, wants to work from home, needs some extra money, is at least a little bit computer savvy. You don't need to be a rocket scientist here. I hope we've shown that. But again, we look forward to hearing from as many of you as possible. Once again, rmrpartners.va@gmail.com. And I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you and have a great day.